dankie julle. And thanks for musicians.
Ja.
Ons het 'n gas op ons Suid-Afrikaans is fantasties. It's either he's Afrikaans or my American English.
Your American accent. Yeah.
Well, you did say thanks, and
Thanks.
thanks, and I appreciate that very much.
Andrew Jed,
Yes.
thanks for being here.
Oh man, my pleasure. Absolutely, this is great.
We wanna really get to know. You're gonna play us a song, and we're gonna talk about the music. But,
Okay.
but first of all, let's just say, where were you born?
I am from California, in the west coast of the States. So, yeah, I grew up in California, moved around the States a little bit, spent some time in Colorado. I'm guessing, geography of the States isn't super knowledgeable here, but yeah, Colorado's in the mountains, and went to university there and learned a lot of music.
But let's stay with school.
Okay.
The system. We know American schools from movies.
Yes.
And then there's a summer school. It's like 3 months or something. Or holidays are long. It's like if you compare it to South Africa, just a difference in terms of you think growing up in school.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not super, knowledgeable about the South African school system, and the system in the U.S. is very much like the movies.
Yes.
There's always drama. We break into song at all times. With dance numbers in the cafeteria.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you do. You talk in song.
That's what we do. Obviously, we have kind of different seasons. So right about now, actually, we're coming out of summer in the States, and kids are starting school or universities, which is all completely different, after COVID and everything like that. There's all kinds of confusion about how to handle the classrooms and stuff like that. Yeah, and then, it's a long chunk of summer. Some kids have summer school, if you don't have good grades, if you really upset the teachers, then, you're locked into school for the summertime. I'm not going to say that I had familiarity with that, but maybe. So that's our system in the States, and then, it goes through Christmas time. But we don't have near the Christmas break that you guys have. We don't, it's cold, so we don't get to go to, like, Cape Town and go surfing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Which is a massive bummer.
So then how, when, and why did you end up in South Africa?
How, when, and why did I end up in South Africa? Well, family stuff. We came over here for a certain kind of job, and being a musician and a record producer. And I do a lot of work with film and TV and songs licensing into shows and whatnot. You can do that from anywhere in the world now. You can... it's amazing the way studios are. You can sit in a coffee shop. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say which coffee shops. I don't know what endorsements you guys have. Yeah, you can work from anywhere in the world. So through some various opportunities, we ended up here in South Africa, and we love it. And I've gotten to know a lot of the musicians here, the artists who are fantastic. And it's been an absolute joy to spend time here and be inspired. And maybe be a part of introducing artists here to some other sounds that they might not otherwise be familiar with.
How long have you been here now?
Well, this is actually our second time living here. So we lived here previously a number of years back for about 3 years as a family, and that's when I really kind of started to get to know. And Pretoria is almost like the Nashville of South Africa. So there's really incredible talent here, and lots of opportunity to do really cool music. And then we moved away. We moved back to the States, and then kind of we wanted to live at the beach full time. So we moved to Central America for a little while, because why keep life boring? And then now we're back again, doing some health-related work and working with artists again.
And then just tell us about some of your international, like you say, series and stuff that they use your songs or music and.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Amazing.
So the music industry has changed so much over the years, and in the States and here as well. But a lot of what artists do now, in terms of getting known with their work, is they'll license songs, in film, television, ads. I mean, when was the last time, you saw an ad that didn't have music underneath it? And right now, what they're doing, instead of having like a composer come up with the jingle, they're going out to artists and saying, hey, this song says the right word for our ad, or has the right feel, for our movie. can we license this song? And that's, as an artist and a songwriter and a producer, that's more the angle that I've had over the years, and people representing me for placing, you know, the songs that I write or the records that I put out into, you know, different shows, different films, different ads around the world. So it's kind of a really major way that artists are making their living and getting known without having to jump in a really smelly van and drive around the country, which is awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And then I wanted to read this in your press release. A very wise man once said, Jed is the king of the hook. He can take any turn of phrase and make it an earworm. He builds his music hook after hook. And that wise man was right. Andrew Jed is a songwriter, musician in the most vintage sense of the term. He's a songwriter for the songwriter, a musician for the musicians, and a performer for the people. His songs are records of moments and experiences and nostalgia and half-drunk bottles of old rough-edged saloon whiskey.
That's it.
Okay, the question, who was this wise man?
Well, the wise man shall remain unnamed.
Yeah, let's keep it unnamed.
Keep it subtle and mysterious.
So we're going to talk about Silver Star, and I've listened to the album.
Thank you.
And the first thing, and I'm not an expert, but it came up, was the word bluegrass.
Okay.
It's not bluegrassy, but it's not country. It's a unique sound. Explain Silver Star and the sound.
Absolutely. So Silver Star is my latest release. Super proud of it. It's in some ways it feels like it's the first record I've done. So, you know, I think COVID brought in a lot of nostalgia. So we all kind of sat around thinking about days that were comfortable, days where we sort of knew what was going on. And I used to play these music festivals in the States that were, you know, kind of like an Opie-Koppie kind of situation. Lots of people there, great music. Silver Star is sort of a callback to that sort of part of my life where, you know, you're traveling the country. It is what I would call Americana music. And Americana music is something that in the States, it's a genre. It doesn't have to be bluegrass. And bluegrass is typically sort of made of like banjos and mandolins and upright bass, and it's a certain song style. It's not rock per se, but it can be. And it just kind of makes you, Americana music kind of makes you feel like you're on a road trip. You know,
Yeah,
and
immediately I felt the windows are open when you did your sound check with the song. Like to roll the windows down.
it feels good. You feel like you're just kind of exploring and feeling good. Songs tell stories, or not. You know, sometimes it's a fun turn of phrase. I started listening to a lot of Bob Dylan. I started playing a lot of old records, because yes, I'm one of those hipsters, well, pretend hipsters, you know, that started collecting a lot of vinyl, and that really brought me back to a space where I used to make CDs back in the day. And as an artist, you create an arc out of your album that you release. You know, right now we're in an era where you're releasing singles, single songs, typically streaming, and I think that's awesome and that's wonderful. You know, Silver Star, I haven't produced a physical product.
Yes.
You can't buy.
You can't buy it. Yeah, it's online. Yeah,
it's online, and that's totally. I'm down with that because, you know, it's a wonderful way for people to experience the songs. But I wanted to create this album almost like it was an old vinyl record from the early '70s. I mixed it that way. I mastered it that way. Which all that means is studio stuff. I made it sound like it was from that era. You know, and so I was listening to a lot of this stuff, a lot of Dylan, a lot of, you know, these bands that aren't totally known here. I like The Band, you know, bands like The Grateful Dead, which also people don't totally know. But I'm hoping largely to bring a lot of those influences over here when I play. So I want to play this stuff live. I want, you know, and then modern artists like Ryan Adams or this cool new band called Blitz and Trapper. Really, really neat, funky stuff that makes you feel like you're on a road trip, makes you feel like you're hearing stories about people's experiences across the U.S., you know.
That's good. When are you going back to America? No plans yet.
No plans yet. So I'm here for a while working with artists. I brought in a lot of South African artists on the record, actually.
Yes.
Some fantastic players that I really wanted to experience, as well as artists from the States. And like I said, you can have a studio anywhere in the world now. So I had some players in the States record, send me stuff. I had players here come into the studio and sing or play, or send me stuff from Neisner or whatever, you know, and mix it all together and make it sound like we're in the same room, because I really wanted to provide that experience.
So you're going to perform for us later. Andrew, can't wait to share that song with the people, so just stay tuned. Just
Yeah,
stay there.
please.
Jy kan ingeskakel bly met Netto, gaan hy vir ons hierdie uniek is 'n lekker liedjie. Glo my, gaan wakker wees en reg wees vir jou maandag. Bly ingeskakel daarvoor.
Kom ons gaan groot.